If you guys have any questions, just go ahead and put them in the chat. Looks like I picked the wrong time to do this on a Friday afternoon.
Yo.
Yo.
I see your message. I literally just got like on.
You know I'm streaming on YouTube right now, right? And they can hear you.
Hi everyone. I came down here to join you because you said you were lonely.
Yeah, well, this will be a quick Q&A session if no one joins. I'm literally going to show, like, some cool stuff that we're working on, and no one wants to see it. That's okay, I guess. Oh, I haven't looked recently.
I got it. Or, I mean, I'll check it out.
Oh, maybe these Q&A sessions aren't needed. Everyone knows everything. Hi, Chris. I don't want to waste my time. People don't want to know stuff. Maybe I'll just make videos on what people think they want to know. It's like, they don't know what they want till I tell them what they want. Yeah, it is probably because it's Friday, to be honest, Adam. And it's like 5 o'clock on a Friday. Everyone's like, you picked the worst fucking time, Tom. It was supposed to be on market close, but my wife has COVID, so I had to go get the kids. I don't know. You guys want me to look at some charts? I guess. No, it really is. There we go, tighten up. There's a question. When I look at the stock, When I look at stock, first thing I look at is basically I zoom out and I look at the big picture, you know, on the daily, and then I'll probably look at the hourly, and then see where it's at if I'm looking at like swing trading and stuff. If it's just like a quick day trade, I'll probably look at the 5 or 15 minute. I'll probably look where tick is at too. So I'll probably look for some divergence in some of the indicators I look at, and that'll determine if it's something that I wanna get in on. Volume I almost never look at, if I'm being honest with you. Not really. If it's a stock I know and a stock I don't know, generally, if it's a stock I don't know, I'll have to look to see if there's liquidity, so I might do like a quick OI scan. And if there's no good OI, I just don't even consider the stock. I wonder if I could add myself to this. Can I do that? I don't know how to add my start virtual camera. Is that what that is? That work? It's been a while since I've added my face. I need to shave. Start virtual camera. Alright, that didn't work. I have my webcam right next to me. I think I have to set it up. I'll figure it out later. Next time. Well, I guess since people are here, they want to know some stuff, I'll give you guys a little preview. I've been working on some big upgrades, more of a professional upgrade to the website. And overview, I'm working on a complete revamp of all of our software. So much more user-friendly, interface-friendly, much more customizable, and just more useful in general. Kind of making it so you only got to have one screen up instead of multiple, I think is the way to go. So, give you guys a quick preview here. This will probably go out in the next few weeks. Let me see if I can change the window here. There we go. Let me know when you guys can see that. Oh, let me bring that over here. Oh. That didn't work. There we go. So, we're redoing the whole website, changing a lot of things, making it much more dynamic, things like that, and it should be much more useful, much more responsive. We're changing servers as well, so you'll have TFC flow, Aries flow, dark pool. You'll have all of our services there, all of the education one spot, and then about us. So be much more streamlined, to the point, as well as all the dashboards will be getting major UI upgrades. So this is what they look like now. I have pictures, but these will all be upgraded and redone completely, and I'm planning on combining them all into one screen. So this will eventually just say dashboard, and all of these will be in one dashboard. So I think that's going to be pretty cool once we get that done, and I'm hoping to have that sooner than later. So website, as you see right now, we're going to have 2.0 will be a relaunch of everything that you see here, and then once that is launched, then we're going to work on the dashboard overhaul, which I'm hoping to have out in the next few months as well. So I'm not positive on the timetable on that yet, but I'm hopeful it'll be sooner than later. So there you go. Ooh. Got windows all over here. Good UI I look for, James, is at least 500 OI on an option, at least 100 volume usually, but it's the bid ask too that comes into play. If the spread on the bid ask isn't ridiculous, I am a little less concerned with the UI, but yeah. I don't really care about the ratio between volume and OI. I care about the spread between bid and ask, and I care about, am I gonna get a good fill? That's what in the end, that's what that's about. So alright, well, if there's no other questions, we can, I'll hang out for another 15 minutes or so, but maybe we'll cut it a little short. I'll try to get a better time for this. This is just terrible. Maybe we'll go back to Sunday nights, or maybe we'll do, like, I was trying to do it after market close, but today was a little bit different. I don't know if Friday after market close is going to be that good to begin with, so maybe I'll just go back to Sunday nights. But then I'm competing with football, and it is what it is. So it just seems like there's not like a perfect time for it. I see what you're saying, James. If volume is greater than OI, that's usually a sign that you got a healthy trending stock. I'm just strictly talking for liquidity purposes. You're more talking for if it's a good trade purpose. So a lot of the trade that I look into is like, there's a reason why I'm looking at it to begin with. Now, if the reason you're looking at it is because of the OI volume, that's a different reason. So I love how like every stream, no matter what it is, everyone always wants to know about Tesla. Every time I say Tesla's an overvalued stock that gets artificially pumped from people that want to buy it because they think it's the future. I will, however, say that Tesla broke out of a falling wedge and is currently retesting it. I think it's possible that it goes down to 190 in the earnings. I think it's possible if we can break above 208 that we could trade back towards 238. But regardless, Tesla's worth $80 a share, so take that as you will. Yeah, so oversold is generally when you're in a long downtrend for a while, and basically you don't have any momentum to the upside, so it's just straight downtrend, so it's oversold. So a lot of times you can tell that with an RSI indicator, generally when it's below like 30. So, and then your other question, part of your question was oversold and, or overweight and underweight. So underweight basically means that it's not a buy right now. It's expected to underperform, so it's underweight of the market. So basically, like if you were thinking of like two fighters going at each other, think of it like a fight, like a boxing match. So usually they're weight classes, right? So if you're underweight, means you're below the weight class right now, and you should not fight. If you're overweight, then you're outclassing the people in your weight class, and you're expected to do well. And that's probably the best analogy I can give on the overweight underweight. What about semiconductors? So honestly, semiconductors have been so bearish lately from all of the news, especially foreign semiconductors in particular, with the new rules and regulations that Biden has gone into. I really like semiconductors. I mean, if you think about it, like in the long term thinking, so like maybe we could switch to some charts. I'll switch over to my chart if I could figure out there we go. Okay, so now you guys can see, hopefully, my charts. If you're looking like American semiconductors, you're thinking like Intel, AMD, Nvidia, MU, etc. are probably the big dogs. And I feel like they're all kind of similar, where you see these falling wedges into earnings. I think a lot of things that we're dealing with right now is uncertainty. So when you have uncertainty, that's basically means death. So when there's uncertainty in the markets, that means investors are scared to buy more. So you create these illiquidity events, which drives the price down. So you have sellers selling because they're unsure where the stock's going, and you just don't have buyers stepping in to create a floor. And that's what's been happening a lot with the stock market in general this year, is you have huge uncertainty in the market, and that's why you'll see like choppiness, sell-offs, into like FOMAC days or Fed days is you have lower volume, so you have less buyers and you have people trying to sell, which drives the price down because there's uncertainty. Hopefully that makes sense. So hopefully you guys can see the chart now. We don't really need to show tick, but hey, my old newsletter chart. Look at that. That thing is a banger. I called the newsletter right here. So I called the drop from 280 down to 200. Hopefully you guys caught that newsletter playback a few weeks ago. That was October. What was that? I wrote that back here. So now we can remove those. So the problem you have with Tesla is the daily candle is just not a good candle. I mean, this is a bearish engulfing outside where you had an outside bearish engulfing and it closed below any support. So unfortunately, this is most likely going down, but we'll see what happens over the weekend. Most likely going to be heading towards the 180 to 190 zone. I'm not sure why you bought calls. Maybe because you thought it was oversold, it sounds like. But I would not have done that, personally. Tesla is not in a good place right now, and it's in a clear channel down. This is a 1-for-1 channel, which means it's a parallel channel. You might get a breakdown of the channel down to 181, and then maybe a bounce back to 208, but either way, you're not going to make money, most likely. Unless all of a sudden news comes out this weekend and it runs back up to 220, then you might get lucky. But this is a megaphone, but not in a good way. What else you guys got? Yeah, I wish I could tell people when they tell me stuff where it's like, "Hey, you made a really good play." That makes me feel good, but at the same time, it is my job to tell you my honest opinion, and I'm not gonna fluff stuff for no reason, you know. Chad, yeah, I have. So the super bearish market right now, people want to know what to do with their long-term portfolios and things like that. I say use the wheel, and we have a really good article on the website, The Wheel. Let me see if I can get the link for that. Drop it in the chat. But basically, like right now would be, if you were bearish, you would sell, let's say you had 100 shares of Tesla stock, right? We could talk about this a little bit. So the wheel is basically you're wheeling stocks. So let's say you own, let's say, yeah, we're kind of in the zone where everyone bought. So let's say you bought in here, right? So you own Tesla right about where it is. Let's just say 205 for simplicity. So you bought in right here. So you're like, shit, it's actually below my average now. I need to start making some money on it. So what you're going to do is say, all right, I feel comfortable if Tesla reached 225, I'm making at least 10% on that, right? So I'm going to sell some 225 calls, and you're thinking, all right, you know, the monthlies are usually want to go about 2-3 weeks out. So we're looking 21st here. So you're like, all right, there's no way it gets above 225. That would be a full breakout of the channel. If that's the case, I'm definitely making money. Worst case scenario, I'm lowering my cost average. So you're selling the call for the 225 on the 21st, which is above your average, and so you're lowering your average down, and so on and so forth. Now, let's say you don't own any shares of Tesla, but you want to go long on it. So you want to buy into Tesla for the long term. So you're like, all right, I don't think it's going to go below 183, maybe 185. That's my bottom line, 190. So you're going to say, okay, cool. So I'm going to sell the puts, cash covered puts at 185. And if Tesla reaches below 185, so let's say it does close below 185 on the 21st at there, well, then you're going to own it at 185 minus the premium. So now your cost average is maybe, you know, those puts are probably $5-10, so maybe your cost average is going to be 175 a share. It's a great way to get into a stock at a lower cost price, and if it doesn't go, well, you still made money. So if Tesla closes above there, you're making money, and you just keep doing that. So then you would say, all right, well, it closed above that, I'm going to sell puts again, and you just keep doing that and making money. Hopefully that makes sense. And you just keep wheeling back and forth. So let's say you did get assigned. Well, you're going to be at the bottom here. So you're going to sell covered calls then. So let's say you get assigned at 185. Well, then you're going to sell covered calls at 210. So if it reaches 210, you're making money on your covered calls for the premium that you selected, plus your underlying share. So you're making 10% down, 10% up, 10% down, 10% up. And you could do that in any type of market ever. So that's a strategy you can use at any time, anywhere. As long as you believe fundamentally in the underlying stock, you only do this on strong strength long-term stocks. Tesla, Apple, high IV stocks are usually the best to do it on because you get more credit for when you sell covered calls and sell puts. I do think there's a lot of value out there. There's a lot of fear in the markets right now. So stocks that are extremely oversold, that have fundamental long-term growth, fundamental long-term value, I think, and I've been saying this for a while, as much hate as it's gotten, maybe I'm a dinosaur, but I just bought a absolute shit ton of Intel in this 25 to 27 level. It's never been this low since 2015, 2015, and this is basically ultimate support for it. So with everything that I know about its future, the risk reward here is too good for me to pass up. When I believe fundamentally, I believe this is a $100 stock that gives me 400% upside with a 6 to 7% dividend. So worst case scenario, Intel stays or goes down a little. Well, I don't plan on selling this for 5 to 10 years. I'm earning 6 to 7% on dividends. I'm making money that way. I have major upside. There's a lot of stocks that are similar to Intel in this type of environment. So I know I mentioned like Himix is another one. So like if you look for like, these are both semiconductors, which I like loading up on semiconductors right now because the fear in the market on them is so astronomically high. Semiconductors are not going away. This is another one that I've been looking at lately. Now their earnings have been going down, so this one's a little bit more risky than Intel, but you know, they have a 2 PE ratio, but their annual growth has been really good, especially in 2021. And even if they take a step back, they're still at least worth double where they're at right now. You know, for the longest time they're in that $6 to $13 range, so they're below that right now. So I truly believe, especially where they bounced recently, they have a lot of upside. Yeah, John, get 2-year leaps out, get shares, run the wheel. Like, there's ways to make money without a stock going up. But, yeah. Yeah, Quad U, I like Quad U. They're pretty heavy U.S. based uranium company. I think I'll be honest. Technically, the stock looks absolutely frightening right now. This looks like a Head and Shoulders, like, to the T, and it's not just like you got that, and you got the Head and Shoulders in the right shoulder. That looks absolutely frightening. James, you come back when you're ready. Don't do it just because. Of course, we'd be happy to have you back. I'll show you guys kind of what my trading setup looks like. So this is my scalping my scalping setup. So I have 5-minute, sometimes a 3-minute, but you know, futures or SPY or SPX. You know, it doesn't really matter. You can do either, whichever one you're scalping. So if I'm scalping SPX, I'll have that. I'll have tick down here. I don't really care about Vold, so I don't really use that as much as others, but you know, VIX down here I'll have as well. I also have this setup that I use where I will have let's say I'm trading a certain ticker, so I'm going to show you guys some different setups here. So I have, let's say for this one in particular I was trading Google, right? So I have my 15-minute on Google because I was swing trading it. And then I have SPY, I have the dollar index, and I have the VIX. So SPY I will have tick because tick is the same for every ticker. So this one I'll have RSI, and I'll have just that. You can also throw, if you want, three-legged goose on here. It doesn't really make a difference. Three-legged goose for me is more of a scalping or exit entries, but usually I can tell that without it. So I really like this setup. You know, if you have conversions with the DIX and the VIX and the SPIX, that's what I like to say. DIX, VIX, and SPIX will tell you where the market is going, and then you can use that overall to confirm your positions within a single ticker. So like if I'm starting to see confluence between these two, so let's say I'm getting a falling wedge. Now this is going to be a 5 and a 5, so I'm getting a falling wedge and a falling wedge. I don't trade when these two trade together. I do not like that at all. I like it when this is going up and this is going down, and then you can see when you have like a drop off in here and then a pump here, that's a good scalp opportunity to enter into that, right? And then you have the reversal, that's an exit right there, and you can see that got off of the EMA right there. And I think these are really good setups that anyone can use. It did. So a few more minutes here. You guys got any other questions? We should start a Diablo 3. Or when Diablo 4 comes out, we should start a TFC clan. That'd be fun. Since there's not a limit to the amount of people that could play together. Sky is not blue by me. It's actually like tornado weather right now. It's terrible weather outside. I think most of the people that are here, Jordan, are all of them coming from basic or standard anyways. Well, just got a couple new viewers. Sneak some questions in for me. I think the first quarter of 2023 is not going to be good. Typically, that is a major sell-off period. It all depends on... So I think earnings will be... I speculate that earnings are probably not going to be great, but you have to remember the market is forward-looking. So I feel like that's going to be our bottom, and that's going to be the time that we start to reverse back into a bull trend. The fact that we've been in a bear market for 10 months now is one of the longest we've had in a very long time. So you have to keep that in mind too. This is historic. Okay, see, Nikola founder got sentenced to 25 years in prison. Or faces 25 years in prison. Man's a crook. I'll try to find a better time to do these because this clearly isn't a great time. Maybe we can do another one Sunday. I think I'll be free. So... SPY. Let's take a look at SPY. So we're going to look at ES. By the way, I should give you guys these settings, but I finally finalized my what I call Tomikazi fibs. Look at that. So the bounce that we had yesterday was the halfway back. That's the blue line right here. These are what I call my Tomikazi fib zones. So these are custom fib zones that I made that I've never seen someone use. So each zone is custom. I use the traditional like 1, 786, 618, 5, 382, 236, and 0. But the rest of them, so the 22, the 214, the 35, etc., are all completely custom. And you can see the zones catch stuff that traditional fibs do not. I've been thinking I might need to change this one. Yeah, that's the one. There we go. I was like, that one needs to be changed so it matches. Cycle analytics. You talking about like Elliott wave cycles? You talking about seasonality? Can you be a little bit more specific, Jimbo? Look at the volume. So you're saying every quarter there's a pattern of peaks and valleys on price action? That has more to do with options volatility and options expiration. So you're seeing like gamma runoffs and gamma squeezes and things like that. So like you could still, I mean, if you were to do like the moon phases, for instance, you can see these correlate typically with option expirations. So you can see they tend to have zones. So you'll have like, they tend to be zones. But each one of these, like even on these, it's like OPEX. So every third week of the month is OPEX, which is the monthly expirations, and you seem to have very good seasonality, or what you call cycles, related to OPEX. So something to keep in mind is OPEX week generally, for the most part, is a bearish week, because you have people taking money off the table before their options expire, which then drives stocks down because they're closing stocks. They no longer have to have that delta on the table, so they no longer, the person that sold those options no longer have to have the underlying shares. So you see stock markets go down because options volume is coming, or options OI is coming off the table, which drives prices down. And that's why OPEX weeks are overall generally bearish. Then you normally see the few weeks after are generally bullish because people are entering into new positions, which means option sellers have to buy the underlying shares, which tends to drive stocks up. Now, the problem that you're having this year is options flow in general is very bearish, so people are buying puts, which means that they're selling stock instead of buying stock, so it's kind of like the reverse. Don't use moon phases, by the way. That was just to show you seasonality. I highly recommend, if you use fibs, to add these fib zones in. They're very powerful. On the daily, even the hourly and 15-minute, they're very nice. So like, for instance, if you were to just do this on the most recent move, you can see the initial move down here bounced at the 465, not the halfway back, which a lot of people were probably holding for. So it bounced off of that halfway zone, and then we chopped in here in this zone, and look, we rejected off the 382, came down to the 535, chopped, broke down, and now we're in this zone. We tend to chop between these zones usually. Oh, of course. You guys are welcome. I do this for myself and obviously for you guys. Big thing, the stuff I'm working on is so exciting for what we're about to bring. Really excited for some of the stuff we're going to be releasing in the next 6 months. I think it's going to be such a major upgrade over what we currently have. It's going to be like a whole new TFC. It really is going to feel like one of the best platforms out there in terms of software and capability of some of the stuff that we're working on. Really excited for it. Putting so much time and effort into it, it might feel like sometimes I'm a little absent from like live trading, but there's only so many hours of the day. So if you want new stuff, I have to take some hours from somewhere to make it. Otherwise, I'm working like 400 hours a week, which there's not 400 hours in a week, so. Dad joke. I don't know if I have any good dad jokes. Obviously, I have good dad jokes. James, do you know why honey is good for you? It's full of B vitamins. Yeah, I hope you guys have seen. We've put a very big effort into increasing the amount of effort we put into like swing plays and stuff. It's a little more boring because obviously like it's not like action packed like day trading and stuff, but the swing plays we've been having have been very successful. You just have to be patient with them, but we've had some really good bangers lately, and I hope they've been helping for those of you that have been following them. Oh, excuse me. So I could have had one on Friday, but I sold at 100%. And I watched it go to 2,500%. But no, I haven't had 1,000%er personally because I've been trading lighter lately. I haven't been trading as much, mainly because I've been working on so much stuff. But I know I've seen like Avery and some other people post some 1,000%ers. So yeah, mainly doing like SPX options and things like that. Yeah, I think he did have a CVS swing that went. I think it did go for 1,000%. All right, I think that's gonna do it for me, guys. Oh, okay. One more question. Last one. As long as the question is, what do you call a fish with no eyes? You call it a fish. Get it? But James, that's such a loaded question that has a lot of variables. So if you buy an option that's in the money, that is in the money through expiration, so you could buy a $10 option. Let's say you have the stock's at 250, so you buy a 240 call, right? So you probably have a little bit of premium on there. So let's say you buy a 240 call where the stock's at 250, it costs $13. So that means you have to have 253 or higher by expiration for it to be profitable or at least break even. Now, if the stock closes at 248, now that option's worth $8 instead of the 13 you played for it. So no, you have to have the stock be typically above your cost ratio. Hopefully that answered it. You should know the answer to that. And if you need to know more about that, feel free to DM me. I'd be happy to explain it to you in a DM. But I do have to go. Wife's calling me. Got to help with dinner and stuff, so I will answer if you guys have questions. Feel free to send me messages on Discord or DM me if you want to keep it private. Be happy to discuss that further, but I do have to run. I'll see if I can do a class Sunday night, and maybe we can have a little bit more action and some charting and set up for the weeks and stuff. All right, guys, thank you. Have a great day, and appreciate you guys all stopping in.